Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all very much for being here. I want to follow up on the 3D printer with respect to the impact on the submarine industrial base, because that's one of the challenges that I think we would all agree we face. Back during the Cold War, we had over 17,000 suppliers. Now we have about 3,500 active suppliers, and as we think about what we need to do to ramp up production for the Virginia payload module, for the Columbia class, that's a challenge, which may be made worse if we no longer are looking for some of those suppliers to provide parts. So I guess my real question is, what are we doing to support and grow that industrial base that we're going to need?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. And there's, you know, I talk a lot about the submarine, the generational production we're doing on the submarine side. And one of the key enablers to that is the supply base, regrowing that, robusting it, and making sure it's capable of delivering. What we're trying to do is we have an integrated enterprise plan where we take all of our submarine work, all of our aircraft carrier work, look at it in total, and make sure the supply base sees that in total so they understand the marketplace. That's starting to bear some fruit, and Congress has been very helpful with a lot of the initiatives in terms of funding to get the supply base up to the ramp we need. When I think of the 3D printed issue, I don't think of it displacing a supplier doing work. I think of it more, how can I do some expeditionary maintenance?
Yeah, no, I was sort of being facetious when I was saying that. But I appreciate those efforts, but what is the signal that the Navy sends when we have a contract for 9 Virginia-class submarines with General Dynamics electric boat, and we still haven't committed on the 10th submarine? Doesn't that send sort of a mixed message with our interest in seeing the industrial base do the ramp up we need?
Yes, ma'am, and specifically to ensure that didn't cause an issue with the supplier, in that contract, we have awarded all the material for all 10 submarines. So to the supplier, they're getting orders for all the material for 10 shipsets because we didn't want to cause disruption in their plan. So I think we mitigated that risk in the supply base. The option is really for the construction element of the ship.
Thank you. I want to go back to the infrastructure optimization plan. I had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to be at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard with a number of other members of the delegation to do the groundbreaking for the paint, blast, and rubber facility, and also for the Defense Logistics Agency warehouse, which are critical pieces if we're going to continue to make the shipyard more efficient. As you know, one of the projects that is part of this effort is the multi-mission dry dock project, which can you confirm if that's still on track for the FY21 budget request?
Yes, ma'am, it's still on track. That's a key component of our overall strategy.
Good, thank you. And as you're looking at, you've discussed a number of things today with respect to what will increase the optimization plan, increase the costs of that optimization plan. And Ms. Mower, you talked about the 17 recommendations which could help address that. How is the Navy looking at those recommendations and implementing them?
Yes, ma'am. And I'm in total agreement with the GAO in terms of their identification that we need to continue to refine our cost estimates, have an independent cost estimate done. The way we're approaching that is, as you know, modeling the shipyards, building the digital models that will then lead to kind of our area defense plan or area construction plans, and then that will allow us to get the refinement in there. Separately, and I think uniquely, we've put a combined program office team. We're going to run this like a program, not a collection of individual products or projects. I think that's unique. I haven't seen that before in the DoD, given the importance of this. I think that, one, we have a dedicated team to it with all the right discipline. We've got the recommendations on how to cost estimate better. That will all come together and continue to give us more confidence that we've got the project scheduled in the right way to do the right job with a budget that we understand and can execute.
And does that sound right to you, Ms. Mower?
Yes, it does. We're very encouraged by the fact that the Navy concurred with our recommendations. And it is, I don't think it is also very important they set up this program office, because up until now, to try to finance improvements at the yards requires pulling from multiple pots of money, wiring together in different parts of the Navy org chart, pulling it all together in one piece is important. The last thing I'll say, though, is since this is indeed a 20-year plan, it's very important for Congress to continue to keep its eye on it, as well as Navy leadership. And of course, we at the GAO will keep track of what's going on with the implementation of our recommendations.
Thank you. And I'm out of time, but I just want to thank you, Secretary Gertz, for attending the USS Thresher Memorial Ceremony at the end of September. As we all know, the Thresher was the worst submarine accident in naval history in the United States, and it took the lives of 129 men on board. And to finally get that memorial meant so much to the families, and to be able to recognize the SubSafe program that grew out of that tragedy and the difference that that's made to keeping our sailors safe is really important. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.